This, ladies and gentlemen, is one of my favorite parts of the evening, which is Doc's legendary coaches. And tonight we have some legendary Doc's coaches talking about their experience that goes back not all 25 years, but certainly a lot of years. Actually, in Matt's case, all 25 years. Matt started coaching when he was 16, if you want to count the ages of how old he is now. And we have a great MC, Ben Kamenow. Ben, who I've known for, it seems like ever. And I've coached alongside with him and enjoyed the heck out of it. I've also had him coach my boys, and I can tell you that both of them think very fondly about Ben Kamenow every time we talk about lacrosse. So I can't think of a better moderator than Ben Kamenow. So Ben, let me hand it over to you, and you can introduce the rest of the panel.
I kind of like to go back in time and think about what the first time you ever stepped on a field to coach any of the boys or the girls. What your feeling was about that. What was drawn to you that be like a highlight moment for that first time.
I'll jump in first, Ben. I was thinking about it today since you and I spoke about getting together and doing this. And my first year, I think it's going back nine years now. And I had boys that were in 7th grade, and I had them 7th and then in 8th grade. And they were just the best group of kids you could possibly ever want to be introduced to coaching in New York City. They went hard every day. Their parents were beyond anything that you could ever expect. And it was just a great introduction to what Doc's lacrosse was. And I think about those kids still to this day, finally and often. I'm still in touch with some of their parents as well. So it was a really fantastic introduction for me personally into, Matt Levine's, Doc's New York City.
But I was going to say, I found Doc's by doing a Google search. I had moved to New York City from Tokyo in 2002, and I wanted to get back into coaching. And I found Doc's. I sent Matt an email. He said, meet me at a Starbucks on the Upper West Side. It was the first time I'd ever been to the Upper West Side. I met him, and by the time we left after having coffee, it was already decided that I would be coaching for him, I think that following week. So I've been coaching all ages of the girls. And at that point, the girls program wasn't that big. We only had a handful of girls, literally, and all different ages. And from then on, we got more girls coaches to come. And some of those girls coaches I'm still friends with to this day. The girls, when I see at CityLax events, as you were saying, Ben, they're all grown up. They've got jobs. I'm sitting there, I'm like, how are you out of high school? I don't know. No, time has stood still, I thought, for everyone, but not so much.
Started in the fall of 2004, and it's similar to Maddie. I had spoken to my wife, Kathleen, and we have triplets at the time they would have been 8 years old, about going out and playing in Manhasset. I wasn't really aware of the city program or Doc's at the time, and she didn't think that was such a smart idea, and she was right in terms of the travel would have been crazy. And so we made our way up to the city, Convent Avenue and CCNY. And I remember walking up with Matt with the 3 kids and Matt hugging me. And that was actually a fitting start to a relationship that I hold very dear. But I always found it incredibly unique to be playing up there and lacrosse in the city, and those Sunday nights up on the big field. And then it fast forward, actually, another one of my great stories and talking about some coaching memories to 2000. So it would have been the spring of 2006. We were able to get the field for a night game against Manhasset on a beautiful spring night, which I would argue is probably the first time a Manhasset team has crossed into the 5 boroughs. And my dad, when my wife got there, was sitting with the Manhasset parents. So she had to walk into the middle of Manhasset parents and say, Grandpa, your sons are on the other team. And, but, I tell you what, I believe any kid on that field will never forget that night. It was just one of those on the turf field, under the lights, when you're in fourth grade, it was something else. It was pretty funny because the coach of the Manhasset team called me up the next day and said, I have a big problem on my hands and you're going to help me. And I'm like, wow, I thought we had a great night. It was a great game. He goes, no, all those kids have gone into their classrooms, told their kids that they played in New York City under the lights. And I've got 40 parents calling because they had 80 kids in the program asking me why my child was not. So you're bringing your teams out for 2 more games a week from this Friday. And I said, absolutely, we'll be there. So, it was always, I have such incredibly fond memories of Docs and my children playing, and I always thought the world of the program.
It's kind of always been the backbone for me. It's kind of been my my way to escape from, I don't want to say reality because coaching is reality, but like the troublesome things and times, and the kids have always been a big part of it. I feel like, and the relationships I still have with them, to me, was one of the most incredible things. I laugh because I see Joe Levine running 160 miles, and I flash back to the time I first met Joe, and he was a chubby little second grader running around on the rooftop at Trinity. So it's pretty amazing. I think one of the best things is like, when the kids reach out to you and they're like, hey coach, that's like the first thing. It's, so it's very interesting how the label sticks with you after all this time. And I think that's one of the best things that I've gotten out of it and continue to get out of it by doing this.
I think one of the other amazing things that I saw, and I think the boys program was probably a few years ahead of the girls, if not more, but the fact that we couldn't field a whole team to have games. So then when we could actually have a full team in an age group, and then get to the point where we had a full team in all age groups, and we knew that we would have kids coming back, that was incredible. I think just to see the enthusiasm and all the effort that the parents put into it, and to see the program year after year just grow and grow and grow, and more kids then coming out summer. And then when we started fall ball, it's just amazing when I think of what it was back then to what it is now. At least the last time I looked at the numbers, it's amazing to me. And it's just a testament, Matt, to you and what you and Gav put together, and you just created this. It's like Teflon. Like once you're there, you just can't get unstuck, and you're always going to be in Doc's family and orbit.
It really helped me become a little bit better of a coach as well. Kind of learning, how to speak to, kids of all ages, kids of all different kind of backgrounds. Kind of tuned in early to, okay, is it positive reinforcement, or do I have to ride that person to get the best out of them on a Saturday morning, up in the Bronx when it's, 35 degrees out, but we're going outside. They're there. So I know they want to get better. So I get such satisfaction out of CityLax. And, I think for me, it was just a great addition to to Docs and to what lacrosse is in New York City, thanks to you and to some of the guys on this call.